Hey everybody, it's Lon Simon. It's time for another unboxing of something we're going to look at soon on my main channel at lon.tv. These two boxes contain what are called SUPERPi cases for the Raspberry Pi. They're from a company called Retroflag, and in full disclosure, these came in free of charge. And no one, though, is paying for this unboxing, nor is anyone reviewing or approving this content before it's uploaded, so all opinions are my own. And there are two versions of this, but I think inside they're the same. So you've got one that looks like a little mini SNES, and this one looks like a mini Famicom. And these interface up with a Raspberry Pi, those little $35 computers. So you can kind of build your own little mini SNES if you want. Now these are the Deluxe Kits, and they come with a game controller, as you can see here, that look like the SNES controller. These actually feel pretty nice, almost on par with the 8-bit dough. I would like a little more travel in the control pad here as I'm playing with it, but overall, they don't feel bad. These are not wireless, by the way. They're USB, so you have to have them plugged in, but this is included in the Deluxe Kit. I think they have a version that does not have game controllers. In here, we have an instruction manual. This looks a little more complicated than it is. And then we've got here a screwdriver, which is always good because you will need this to get your Raspberry Pi fastened down onto that thing there. And then we'll take it out of the box here, and this is what it looks like. So let's see if we can get into this a little bit here. So this panel here pops off, and this is where you have, it looks like your Ethernet and USB ports. And oh, there we go. We can open it up and see what's inside. So inside, we've got some screws here and some rubber feet. This is the, looks like USB extender cables. So there are two USB ports in the front. So I think it might have like a little mini hub here. Maybe these are just pass-through USB cables to get the USB from the Raspberry Pi over to the front of this here. And I think I've got a Raspberry Pi, I do, inside my drawer here. So what will happen is the Raspberry Pi, I believe, will sit this way. Oops, if I don't drop it first. And these screws will line up with the screws on the bottom of the Pi here. It looks like it's sticking up a little bit. I gotta get it in there better. And there you go. So it looks like that's how it goes. The micro SD card can pop in through this panel here. So I think you probably don't want to have the card in there when you put everything together. There we go. So you screw it down like so. And then it looks like you connect these two cables onto the USB ports, probably the ones closest to the end here. So you may want to plug these in before you ratchet it down. So let's do that real quick here. There we go. And then what's neat about this kit is that it has a power switch that you can control and properly shut down your Raspberry Pi with a script. And they have a link to it, and there's some instructions on this GitHub site for installing it. It looks like it's pretty much a simple command line to get everything going there. And I believe this cable here connects up to the GPIO ports on the Raspberry Pi, and you can see they've got some instructions for that here as to where that plugs in. So it looks like it connects to the last set of cable or ports on that thing there. So we're going to have what looks like, it goes, okay, it goes the other way. It goes like so. And we'll pop that in there. And that's good to go. Now, of course, normally you would screw this down and have everything going there. So now there is a switch here on the front. There's the safe shutdown switch, and there's also a power switch here too. So you have the option to just do a hard power on or not. And these things kind of line up with what you see on here. So let's get this clamped down on this. Again, you normally would screw this in just to get everything situated properly. But there you go. So we've got everything attached. And then this switch will turn it on and off. This is a reset button here. I think this might, okay, it actually does just do a reset. And if you have this safe shutdown switch to on here, I think when you do flick the power switch, it'll execute that script first before it powers everything down. So there might be some logic on this board to control that and get that going. What's not in my box here is a fan. I think that's an optional thing, so you can get a cooling fan and run it off of that pin there. But again, everything's going to be powered here through the Raspberry Pi, including the power going in. So what you do is reattach everything here. Your power goes in there, HDMI goes out there, audio out there. Here's where you stick in your micro SD card, and then of course you've got this working switch here to get everything going. And then they have a little holder here for your SD cards, which is pretty cool. So that's how that all comes together. So pretty cool. So we're going to play around with this on the main channel so you can see how all of it works, including that safe shutdown. I'm very eager to see how it handles that. Now this one is the little mini SNES version, and it looks pretty cute. So same thing inside. Everything's in the same place, but it's just got the look of the SNES versus the Super Famicom. And you also have the eject switch there, the power reset buttons here. And these actually work like real SNES switches do. So it's a little different than this one, which is a push button and a slider. This is 2 sliders and the eject button. And that is it. Pretty cool. Let's see the controller. And here is the controller. Feels pretty much the same. I'm not crazy about the D-pad on these. It's a little too shallow for me. It doesn't rock that nicely, but other than that, it does feel pretty nice. And they got the buttons correct here too. So you have the concave Y and X and the rounded B and A. And this one, modeled after the Famicom, is all rounded. So they got the accuracy down on the look and the feel, but the D-pad, not as good as I would like. But other than that, it looks like it's pretty cool. So what I'm going to do is start, first of all, getting everything screwed down on here. We're going to have a full review of this soon on my main channel at lon.tv. So we'll see how all of this works. I'm going to install probably the retro emulation image on here, that Retroflag thing, and get that all fired up and see how this all works. So stay tuned. A lot more to come on the main channel at lon.tv.
This channel is brought to you by the lon.tv supporters, including gold level supporters Chris Allegretta, the 4 Guys with Quarters podcast, Tom Albrecht, Bill Reiner, and Kalyan Kumar. If you want to help the channel, you can by contributing as little as $1 a month. Head over to lon.tv/support to learn more. And don't forget to subscribe. Visit lon.tv/s.